The first thing that hits him is the smell. Thick, sweet, rotting. Not fish, not seaweed. Something heavier. José Salvador Alvarenga turns his head slowly, every movement draining what little strength he has left. His skin is burned, peeled, and burned again. His lips are cracked. His eyes struggle to stay open under the relentless glare. The Pacific stretches endlessly in every direction. No ships, no land, no escape. Just water, and the body beside him. Ezequiel Córdoba hasn't moved in days. His skin has turned pale gray. His mouth is slightly open, frozen in a silent expression that no longer belongs to the living. The sun is already beginning its work, drying him into something unrecognizable. José stares at him, then, quietly, "Ezequiel, look." His voice barely exists anymore, scraping out of a throat that hasn't known fresh water in days. Above them, seabirds circle. José watches them with the focus of something starving. His stomach no longer screams. It twists slowly, like an engine running on nothing. Because hunger has changed. It's no longer pain. It's emptiness. Weeks without proper food have pushed his body into survival mode. Fat burned first, then muscle. Now his body is dismantling itself piece by piece, feeding on its own tissues just to keep his brain alive. Every movement feels heavy. Every breath tastes like salt. And the sun never stops. It doesn't warm the skin. It cooks it. The equatorial heat strips moisture from his body relentlessly. Skin cracks. Blisters burst. Salt dries into tiny crystals that grind into open wounds with every movement. José pulls a torn piece of fabric over his neck. It does almost nothing. The boat rocks gently beneath him. Not violently, just enough to remind him the ocean is alive. It is moving him somewhere he cannot see. And somewhere inside that endless blue, his mind is starting to fracture. Because José Salvador Alvarenga has been out here longer than any human should be. Months, drifting, surviving, breaking. In November 2012, he left the coast of Mexico on what should have been a routine fishing trip. A normal day. A simple decision. 14 months later, he would walk out of the ocean nearly 6,700 miles away. Alive. Barely. By then, his body would be skeletal, his hair sun-bleached, his beard wild, his eyes hollow, but still searching. Because somehow, he survived 438 days lost at sea. The longest confirmed ocean drift survival in history. But records like that don't come from luck. They come from something else. Something darker. Something that refuses to stop, even when everything else already has. José looks back at Ezequiel's body. The flies have returned. The heat is making things worse. He knows he can't keep him here. But letting go means something else. It means being truly alone. For weeks, that body was proof that he wasn't the last human left in this world of water. The boat rises slowly on a passing swell. José looks out at the horizon, trying to remember the exact moment everything went wrong. Because this didn't start with disaster. It started with a choice. A small one. The kind people make every day. A decision that quietly set everything in motion. A decision that would trap him inside one of the most brutal survival ordeals ever recorded. November 2012. The fishing town of Costa Azul wakes before sunrise. Engines cough to life along the shore. Nets are stacked. Coolers packed with ice. For the fishermen here, the Pacific is not mysterious. It's routine. And José Salvador Alvarenga is one of the most experienced men on that water. He has spent years pushing small boats into deep ocean, chasing tuna, sharks, and mahi-mahi. He knows the currents. He knows how the weather behaves. More importantly, he trusts himself. That confidence becomes the first mistake. Because on the morning of November 17th, the Pacific is already shifting. Far off ashore, a storm system is building. Not massive, not dramatic, but unstable enough that some fishermen choose not to go out. Jose does. He prepares a 25-foot fiberglass fishing boat. No cabin, no real navigation beyond a basic GPS, no emergency beacon, just fuel, fishing gear, and a cooler. It's a boat meant for short trips, not survival, but Jose isn't planning to disappear. He plans to return within a day. The second mistake comes with his crew. Ezequiel Cordoba, young, inexperienced, quiet. He isn't comfortable with the weather. The sky already looks wrong, clouds forming in uneven layers, wind patterns shifting. Other fishermen notice it too. Some refuse to go. Jose shrugs it off. Storms are normal. The catch has been good, and every day on land means no money. So before sunrise, they leave. The boat pushes away from shore, and with every mile, the coastline shrinks behind them. They head nearly 50 miles out. By afternoon, the fishing is excellent. The cooler fills quickly. Everything feels normal, until it doesn't. The storm arrives faster than expected. Wind builds first, then waves, then rain. Heavy, relentless rain that erases the horizon. The ocean turns gray. Flat distance becomes chaos. Jose decides to head back. He starts the engine. But then, the first failure. The radio dies. Saltwater floods the electronics. Their only connection to shore disappears instantly. No calls, no help, no warning. Then, the second failure hits. The engine stalls. At first, it feels like a small issue, something fixable. But in this environment, it changes everything. Because now, they are no longer moving through the Pacific. The Pacific is moving them. Ocean currents begin pulling them west, away from Mexico, away from shipping lanes, away from everything. Inside the violently shifting boat, two men begin to understand. This isn't temporary. This isn't a delay. They are no longer fishermen on a trip. They are now passengers, carried by a body of water that covers 1/3 of the planet. A place where direction stops meaning anything. The waves rise higher. The sky darkens further. The storm locks in. And somewhere in that moment, without sound, without announcement, the Pacific closes the door behind them. There is no turning back, no path to retrace, only distance, only drift, and time running in the wrong direction. Because the supplies they brought were never meant for this. Food for a short trip, water for a day, fuel for hours, not weeks, not months, not what's coming next. The boat continues drifting, pulled deeper into open ocean, further away from anything human. And inside it, two men sit in silence, because both of them now understand something they can't fully say out loud. They are not trying to get back anymore. They are trying to survive. When the engine dies, the silence doesn't last. The Pacific fills it instantly. The motor had been controlled. Now it's gone. Jose pulls the starter cord again. Nothing. Again, nothing. The wind tears across the water. Waves slam into the hull, lifting and dropping the small boat like it weighs nothing. Ezequiel grips the side rail, eyes wide, not panic. Realization. Because without an engine, there is no going back. They don't steer anymore. They drift. A wave hits from the side. Jose slams into the deck. Pain flashes through his ribs. The horizon disappears. Up becomes irrelevant. Water surrounds everything. Another impact. The boat shudders. Gear slides. Fuel spills. The smell of gasoline mixes with salt and fear. The storm doesn't hit once. It hits constantly. Small failures stacking. Energy draining. Control disappearing, piece by piece. Then something worse happens. Time stretches. Minutes become hours. The storm doesn't pass. It stays. And by the time darkness fully takes the sky, they are gone. No coastline, no reference. Just black ocean moving in every direction. By morning, the real problem begins. Water. Their fresh water is already gone. and the only water around them is poison. Days pass. The sun replaces the storm as the enemy. It burns without pause. Sweat evaporates instantly. Their bodies begin shutting down. Lips crack. Tongues dry. Thinking slows. They search the boat. Nothing. So they wait. 3 days later, rain. Jose scrambles, catching it in anything he can. Hands, containers, the cooler lid. They drink like animals. It saves them, but only temporarily, because rain is not reliable, and survival now depends on what they can take from the ocean. Fish gather beneath the boat. Jose watches, waits, strikes. Sometimes he catches them, sometimes he misses, but when he catches one, he eats it immediately. Raw, blood running down his chin. Protein, calories, life. Birds begin landing on the boat. Jose adapts again. He waits, still as driftwood, then grabs them. Sometimes they escape, sometimes they don't. When they don't, he breaks them quickly, drinks the blood, eats the flesh. Everything becomes fuel. Weeks pass. Their bodies change. Fat disappears, muscle shrinks, skin hardens under constant sun. They become lighter, weaker, but still alive. The mind changes too. Silence grows heavier. They talk constantly, about anything, because silence means thinking, and thinking leads somewhere dangerous. Ezekiel fades first. He eats less, drinks less, talks less. One day, he stops trying. Jose pushes him, argues, begging him to survive. But the body can decide to quit. And when it does, there is nothing you can force. Ezekiel dies quietly. Jose sits beside him for hours, then days, talking, pretending, because being alone is worse than anything else out here. But the smell comes. The heat makes it unavoidable. Eventually, Jose lets him go. He pushes the body into the ocean and watches it disappear. Now, he is alone, completely. Time stops meaning anything. Days blur, weeks blur. His beard grows wild. His hair bleaches under the sun. His skin becomes something else entirely. He creates routine. Morning, fish. Afternoon, hide from the sun. Evening, watch for rain. Night, stay awake. Because without structure, the mind breaks. Hallucinations begin. Ships that vanish. Voices in the wind. Memories that feel real. But he keeps going. Not because he believes he'll be saved, but because stopping is the same as dying. Months pass. The ocean becomes familiar, predictable. He reads it now, smells rain before it comes, sees movement before fish appear. He adapts, becomes part of it. Until one morning, something changes. At first, it feels like another illusion. A shape, dark, vertical. Jose squints. It doesn't disappear. It grows. Green, solid. Trees, land. After drifting across thousands of miles, the impossible appears. But survival isn't finished, because his body is no longer built for land. When the boat finally touches shore, he tries to stand. His legs collapse. Muscles gone. Balance forgotten. He falls. Again, then crawls, slowly, toward the trees, toward something that isn't water. When people finally see him, he doesn't look like a fisherman. He looks like something that has been surviving outside the world. He speaks one word, help, and somehow, after 438 days, that is enough. Because survival at this level isn't strength. It isn't skill. It's something simpler. A refusal. A decision. To keep going. Even when the body breaks. Even when the mind fractures. Even when the world forgets you exist. And sometimes, that refusal is the only reason someone makes it back. If stories like Jose's remind you how fragile and how resilient the human body and mind can be, consider joining this community. Because there are many more real survival stories like this one waiting to be told. Stories where the difference between life and death often comes down to one thing: A person who simply refuses to stop trying.